I've seen women with their Dixie cups at the Little League game. I thought it was lemonade till she said, have a sip, and I went, whoa. And your story is so on point. I'm wondering, when did you finally realize, Danielle, that, hey, time out, I need help?
There was one day that I embarrassed my family. I embarrassed my son. And my daughter didn't want to talk to me anymore. And my now ex-husband, who is a delightful human being and was an incredible support system then and now, he and I are very good friends. He looked at me and he said, Dee, I'm not even mad at you anymore. You're sick. And I ended up going to a treatment center out of state, and I checked myself in. And I have never felt so alone and so isolated until I began to have conversations with other people like me and realized that I'm so far from being alone. And what a beautiful thing it is to be on the other side and to be able to say to other women, gosh, I can still have fun without drinking. And all those things that I was afraid I wouldn't be able to do without alcohol, I can live. And there are so many hours back in my day because I'm no longer consumed with what time I get to drink and how am I going to sneak alcohol into my day.
I think I'd like to turn to Dr. Finkelstein now and just see if you could comment on how common is a story like Danielle's?
Unfortunately, it's extremely common. The alcohol is just so much easier and more socially acceptable, so it just goes under the radar, and it just sometimes becomes a habit. And if everyone's doing it every night, you may or may not have trauma, but the habit itself is physiologically addicting.
And so for people who may not just be forming a habit, I know you alluded to trauma. What exactly is trauma drinking?
What trauma is usually an internal discomfort. And trauma drinking isn't just around drinking. It's what I call self-sabotage or self-numbing. And it can come in the form of alcohol, drugs, food, overachievement, and every other form of excess.
And I mean, we have to touch on it, the pandemic, COVID-19. I mean, this has to be fueling the increase in drinking and addiction and all the other issues that go together with alcohol consumption.
The pandemic has created an environment of anxiety that everyone is feeling. There are people that show up in my office who've never had any form of anxiety, and here they come looking for help.
Well, Dr. Finkelstein, what should people do out there if they think that they're drinking too much or legitimately they've realized they've hit that point, I have a drinking problem?
There often is or needs to be a rock bottom. Some people don't really realize that it's becoming a problem themselves. So someone else has to let them know. It's either a family member, it's their boss, their children. Something gets in the way of their normal life functioning, and that's the signal. At that point, someone has to be ready and willing to surrender, and that's difficult as well. They have to be brave, they have to be willing to show up and almost open up all the dark spots to the public and be honest with themselves.